Grab your popcorn, folks, because the saga between the 45th president and the king of late night just hit a brand new level of petty, and we are absolutely living for the drama. If you thought the election cycle was over and we could all go back to watching cat videos in peace, think again. The battle for the remote control is raging hotter than ever. In one corner, we have President-elect Donald Trump, thumb warrior extraordinaire. In the other, Jimmy Kimmel, the man who apparently lives rent-free in the president's head. Let's set the scene. It's Thursday, November 20. Most of us are asleep, but who is awake? The President of the United States. And who is he thinking about? Jimmy Kimmel. During his Thursday night monologue on Jimmy Kimmel Live, our favorite host wasted absolutely zero time addressing the elephant, or should I say, the angry orange, in the room. Jimmy revealed that he woke up to yet another digital demand for his immediate termination from the airwaves. But instead of panicking, Jimmy served up a masterclass in unbothered energy. The morning after vibe we can all relate to. Here is the part that makes this whole story so incredibly relatable. Imagine you are Jimmy Kimmel. You're famous, you're rich, you're on TV every night. You'd think a tweet from the most powerful man in the world would ruin your breakfast, right? Nope. Jimmy painted the most domestic, normal picture for his audience. He's lying in bed. It's morning. His wife, Molly, walks out of the bathroom, phone in hand, and casually drops the bomb. She goes, Trump tweeted you should be fired again, Jimmy recounted to the audience, channeling that weary spouse energy we all know so well. His reaction, a simple, nonchalant, oh. And then, he went downstairs and made bagels for the kids. Can we just pause for a second to appreciate that? The president is raging on Truth Social, typing in all caps, demanding heads roll, and Jimmy is just downstairs like, cream cheese or butter. It's the level of unbothered we should all aspire to in 2025. The 12:49 a.m. obsession. So, what exactly did Trump say this time? Jimmy read the post aloud, and it was a greatest hits compilation of Trump insults. Why does ABC Fake News keep Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, on the air? Why do the TV syndicates put up with it? Also, totally biased coverage. Get the bum off the air. I'm the bum, Jimmy joked, wearing the insult like a badge of honor. But here is where Jimmy turned the tables with some Sherlock Holmes-level deduction. He pointed out the timestamp on the post, 12:49 a.m. For those keeping track of time zones, that is exactly 11 minutes after Jimmy Kimmel Live ended on the East Coast. He watches us live, Jimmy realized, looking directly into the camera with a grin that can only be described as sheer delight. Hi, Mr. President, how are you? Thanks for watching us on TV instead of on YouTube, we appreciate that. It's the ultimate irony, isn't it? Trump claims the show has very poor ratings, yet he is personally contributing to the viewership numbers by tuning in live. As Jimmy perfectly put it, it's viewers like you who keep us on the air, ironically. Deflecting with humor, the Sunton Kid proposal. Jimmy didn't just thank the president for the views, he offered a compromise. A peace treaty, if you will. Acknowledging that Trump has tenacity for trying to get him fired, and failing so many times, Jimmy made an offer that might actually break the internet if it ever happened. If you're watching tonight, which I presume you are, how about this? I'll go when you go, Jimmy proposed. He painted a cinematic picture for us. It'll be a team. Let's ride off into the sunset together like Butch Cassidy and the Sunton Kid. The Sunton Kid, I mean, come on, that is comedy gold. He couldn't resist getting one last jab in though, referencing a recent headline where Trump allegedly called a female reporter Piggy while on Air Force One. Jimmy borrowed the phrase for his sign-off. And until then, if I may borrow a phrase from you, quiet piggy. The context, why this feud matters. It's easy to laugh at the jokes, but there is a fascinating dynamic happening here. Since returning to the air in September, after a brief suspension involving comments about Charlie Kirk, Jimmy has been off the leash. He has gone after Vice President J.D. Vance, dubbing him Vice President Maybelline, and hasn't shied away from the big political fights. Jimmy also touched on why Trump might be so glued to the TV right now, lashing out at comedians. He hinted that the president might be looking for a distraction from the biggest sex scandal in the history of the American presidency, referencing the impending release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Jimmy joked that Trump took precious time on the toilet to write that post about him. It's a funny image, but it underscores a serious point. The late-night hosts are often the ones saying what everyone else is thinking but is too polite to say. Why we can't look away. During a panel discussion with Bloomberg back in October, Jimmy got real about why he leans so hard into politics. It's not just for the ratings, it's about maturity and identity. I think maturity is part of it. I think you figure out who you are, Jimmy explained. He sees his job as talking about the news of the day, and let's be honest, Trump is the news. He's on TV all day, every day, so he gives us a lot to use, to deal with, Jimmy said. That's unusual. That's not how it used to be. And he's right. Remember the days when presidents were boring, when late-night monologues were about airline food and bad dates? Trump has fundamentally changed the landscape of comedy because he provides so much raw material. Interestingly enough, despite the animosity, Jimmy admitted he would actually love to have Trump as a guest on the show. Can you imagine that interview? The tension? The banter? The ratings would probably break the scale, proving Jimmy's point once and for all. The final word. At the end of the day, this latest spat proves one thing. The relationship between politicians and comedians is symbiotic. Trump needs Jimmy as a punching bag to rally his base, and Jimmy needs Trump as the ultimate villain to fuel his comedy. But what makes Jimmy Kimmel stand out is how he handles it. He doesn't get angry, he gets funny. He doesn't retreat, he makes bagels. He humanizes the absurdity of it all. So, as long as the Angry Orange keeps tweeting at 12:49 a.m., you can bet Jimmy Kimmel will be there the next night, ready to turn those tweets into punchlines. And honestly, we'll be watching right along with them. What do you think? Is Jimmy Kimmel's response perfect, or is he poking the bear too much? And would you watch an episode if Trump actually agreed to come on the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss.